Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing my personal thoughts and opinions on World of Tanks Blitz Reforged, Ultra Test 2. Alright, so before we get into the video, I just want to let you know that I'm currently running the game on the recommended graphics settings. I'm not using Ultra settings because, well, the game gets super choppy and laggy when I do. And honestly, it's not even my PC, it's just really poor optimization on the game's part. I mean, yeah, it's slightly better than the last test, but it's still pretty bad. Wargaming seriously needs to focus on optimization, because we can't ignore the fact that a pretty big chunk of this game's player base is on mobile. And if it's not optimized properly, those players are going to struggle to run it on high settings. I mean, low settings make the game look awful, genuinely terrible. Also, it's really good that Wargaming brought back the old crew voices. They're way better than those stupid commander voices. The armor highlighting is still the same, and honestly, it still looks awful. Wargaming seriously needs to bring the current armor highlighting from World of Tanks Blitz into Reforged. Alright, now let's take a look at the transfer hub. So, they've changed the icons for most things, like boosters, XP, and all that. But honestly, I don't have a problem with any of those. The real issue for me is the premium certificate getting applied as soon as you log into Reforged for the first time after it officially releases. Basically, what they're doing is forcing you to play right when the game drops, or else your certificate just goes to waste. Certificates are meant to be used at the right moment, like when you've got a big boss mode in rotation and a bunch of XP multiplier certificates stacked. So, yeah, I really disagree with the certificate applying automatically the moment you log in. Also, I don't really get why they can't just keep credits as credits instead of changing them to silver. But honestly, it's not a big deal. Alright, now let's move on to the cosmetic tab. I actually like the idea that you can see how the camo looks on tanks just by the icons. But the problem is, this menu is really messy. It needs to be way better organized. Wargaming said in the trailer for Ultra Test 2 that they sorted the types in cosmetics. But honestly, I can't find them anywhere. You know what? Let's check the other tanks I played yesterday because I remember seeing the camo type in that tank's cosmetics. Still can't find it. Oh, wait, here it is. But yeah, you can see how messy this cosmetic tab looks. It definitely needs to be better arranged. Alright, so now let's talk about the commander section. Wargaming updated the visuals for two commanders, Duncan and Olivia, which is, yeah, a nice change. But honestly, the issue was never just about how they looked. The real concern with commanders is that Wargaming plans to put them behind a paywall or lock them into certain events. So if you're not playing the game constantly and you miss one of those events, you just lose the chance to get that commander for free. And that's frustrating. Like I've said before, Wargaming, if you want to monetize commanders, fine. Sell skins for them, but keep the commanders themselves free. That way, players still get access to the core gameplay elements, and you can still make money through cosmetics. I don't care if you sell a cosmetic item for $1 million, as long as it doesn't impact battle performance, it's totally fine. But anything that gives a real in-game advantage should always stay free. You're already selling more premium tanks than what we see in the tech tree, and tanks like the Annihilator or the Smasher, they have a huge impact in battle. Putting those kinds of tanks behind a paywall is already pushing it, and now if you're going to do the same with commanders, it's just, honestly, it's dumb. You're going to drive players away and, slowly kill your own player base if you keep heading down that path. The thing is, I actually want commanders in the game. It's a good change, as long as they're not locked behind a paywall. They let you change up the playstyle of the same tank, which adds a lot of variety. Take this BZ for example. I can run Duncan as the commander, and with Rammer plus Power Drink plus Combat Control unit in the equipment, I think I can bring the reload down by about 2 seconds. Also, Duncan gives me a third shot after hitting 2 shots on an enemy, and that third one deals 10% more damage, which is honestly huge. I really like that. It means I can take a tank with low DPM and turn it into something with really solid damage output. Or if I want, I could make a slow tank feel quicker just by switching up the loadout. That kind of flexibility is actually pretty cool. So the next thing Wargaming added is the All Tanks tab, which is actually a nice addition. I've got no complaints about that. But now, moving on to the tech trees. When premium and collector tanks are shown together in columns, the whole thing looks really awful. I honestly don't get how this is supposed to be simpler than the current tech tree in Blitz. I mean, what was Wargaming even thinking? Why not just keep the tech tree like it is right now in Blitz, remove the unnecessary sets, and merge those tanks into the main nation lines if they have similar playstyles? Or if needed, add new tanks and build out the sets properly all the way to tier 10. I seriously can't understand the logic behind this layout. And this is just China's tech tree. Other nations look even worse. They're way more confusing and messy. Like, just look at this. How is this supposed to be more user-friendly? Wargaming, please. Make a separate tab for premium and collector tanks in the tech tree, and make sure every line goes up to tier 10. Merge those random low-tier sets into something meaningful. It'd clean things up a lot and actually make the tech trees way easier to follow. So another issue is these keys. If you check the store, Wargaming's already put them in there. It takes like 20 keys to unlock a set, which costs about 18k gold just to unlock one single set. That's pretty tragic. Basically, Wargaming wants to monetize something that used to be completely free by taking away your freedom to grind multiple tech lines at the same time. And honestly, that's pretty stupid. For example, if you go to the set tab and look for a tier 10 set, like the IS-7, it's going to cost you those 20 keys, which equals around 18k gold if you buy them. This is really bad for the game, and honestly, I have no words for Wargaming on this one. So according to Wargaming, you're locking sets behind keys to limit new players to grinding just one set at a time from a small pool of options. And honestly, that reasoning is absolutely idiotic. All you needed to do was tie set unlocking to player level. When someone creates a new account and finishes the tutorial, you could offer them a few solid beginner-friendly sets based on the nation or playstyle they prefer, like strong turrets, auto-reloaders, or fast tanks with high DPM, and let them pick one. Then, once they finish that set and reach tier 10, unlock 2 more options tailored to their playstyle, and keep expanding that access as their level increases. That system would have been way better than locking everything behind keys. It keeps things simple for new players while still giving high-level players the freedom to grind multiple lines, and all without forcing monetization into core progression. What I'm saying, in simple words, is just remove the damn keys. We seriously don't need them. Instead, make set unlocking based on player-level progression. Do the same thing for commanders too. Put all commanders in level-up rewards so players earn them naturally. If you try putting them behind a paywall, the game's player base is going to take a massive hit, and that's on you. Just let high-level players freely grind multiple lines and have full access to commanders. It's the better move for everyone. Alright, so, about graphics and optimization. Even though the FPS counter shows 60, it honestly doesn't feel smooth when you're playing. The game still feels kind of choppy, and no, it's not because of recording or background apps. There's definitely still plenty of room for optimization that needs to be addressed. Next, the armor highlighting system is, not great. It needs a proper rework. Same goes for the aim scope. There's a noticeable delay between pressing the fire button and when the shell actually fires, and that delay makes aiming feel unresponsive. While the distant graphics have improved compared to Ultra Test 1, the close-range visuals, like your tank and nearby terrain, still look a bit blurry. The Normandy map also continues to look awful and definitely needs a rework. Now, on a good note, I really love the radar map from Reforged, and I'm super glad Wargaming added it to Blitz yesterday. It's a genuinely solid improvement. Game physics overall feel way better than before, but there's still a little room to polish it further. Finally, the destruction physics on most destructible objects are fine, but yeah, there are still a few that just flatten out unrealistically when touched. It'd be great to see those get fixed in upcoming tests. Another good thing is that the replay system is back, and now it comes with some new features, like being able to rewind the replay anytime, which is actually super cool and really helpful if you're trying to get clean screenshots or make thumbnails. That said, the replay system in its current state is still kinda unusable. It definitely needs more work to be properly functional and smooth. And lastly, before wrapping up the video, Wargaming really needs to improve the match end screen. It's pretty hard to clearly see your damage and other stats after a battle, especially when compared to what we have in the current version of Blitz. So yeah, I hope they make the user interface more clear and user-friendly going forward. I hope you liked today's video, and I'll see you all later.